right tonight. Cause it's feeling like deja vu. Feeling like it's feeling like deja vu. This ain't feeling right. Cause it's feeling like deja vu. Feeling like it's feeling like deja vu. Know what to do.
Hello. This is the Queen of the Bronx, Apollonia Cruz, here with my darling Frankie O'Day.
Gotta roll those tongues, baby.
I've been practicing because I'm going to be hosting some Spanish events that I haven't spoken about yet, so I'm practicing my.
Well, I get it. You know, we haven't been in the studio for a couple of weeks, so I had to get warmed up. You know, so the tongue thing definitely helps to get me, you know, the juices started, like the saliva, what do you call it? Down the tongue, down the throat.
But aren't you famous for your tongue rolls?
Darling, yes. Yes, that was definitely my claim to fame. If you don't know it, look it up. Wikipedia.
All the rumors are true.
Hey, look, all publicity is publicity, good or bad, correct?
Good or bad. Salud, my darling.
Salud, welcome back to the studio.
Yes, we haven't been to the studio, what, 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks,
Oh
yes. So 2 weeks ago, as you all know, we did a Zoom show. Because there was COVID going around and some of the crew was not feeling well. So we did it from your lovely home.
Yes.
With your Rockefeller Christmas tree.
It's still there. I'm not taking it down.
Behind. That was great. So I was glad to be with you, but I do miss the studio.
Yeah, the lights, right?
Being on stage, you know, with the lights and everything happening is something really special.
Yes.
And then last week, the weather got, you know, us all
It was
caught
horrible.
up.
I couldn't leave my house.
Some of our brains were frozen.
I
All of our
couldn't leave
brains
my
were frozen.
house. But I was ready though, right? I was done.
No, you were.
I was ready. I thought we were going to do a Zoom in my house.
So I
again.
didn't want to miss a week, so we just, you know, did a Facebook Live, which was very fun.
I have my,
you know.
my infamous after shows that I do it when I'm hosting or wherever I'm at, any events. When we here, I do the after show. But it was cute. People liked it.
I liked it, but you know, I'd rather be with you or in the studio with you. You know, I saw another TV show, very famous. It's been on forever.
Yes.
And there's 2 new hosts of it, and they're amazing. And I just happened to catch it because I was home this weekend. And it was not the same. Like, they just did not have the same chemistry being at home as opposed to in the studio. And I was just so disappointed because I really love both hosts. The male host was amazing. He was amazing.
He was quick.
He was amazing. The female host, like, she was having a day. Like, I was just like, I don't know who she is right now. Like, you are not nice.
Maybe she had her period. Who knows?
I mean, is that politically correct to say?
It happens to me.
Okay. I know to be careful on the show now. What we say, darling, that they come for the heads.
They're going to be censoring
They come
us.
for the heads, you know what I'm saying? So we'll be careful what we're saying here. But how have you been over this past week?
I'm doing good. I'm just getting my apartment together. I always lived in rented condos since I was in my mid-20s. So the condo where I live at now in New York City got sold. So they're coming to my house this week, and hopefully I don't get kicked out. Happy New Year, Enrique. Listen, I want to give a special shout out to.
Well, we can do that later. They're always on there.
Albert Crocus Peña blessed me with this T-shirt of heels.
That is. I didn't know what that was. I thought it was a beer.
Shit.
Cause the white T-shirt and the girls happened. I thought it was a white T-shirt
and
contest.
It's kind of cold in the studio.
It is kind of cold. It's a beer. It's
so
a
Albert
beer.
Crocus blessed me with this T-shirt. Hold on, I think I'm gonna fall. Okay, you see that? It's a heel.
It's very cute.
It's
very
cute.
cute.
I'm very casual Friday on a Tuesday.
Well,
We
you know
both
what?
are. I told you I was gonna dress
it's
simple.
okay for me to be casual, you know, but you are the
Yeah,
queen of the Bronx, you know. So,
so
you know, for you to be casual is amazing too.
it's like you
but,
never
know,
see it.
You have to come out, but you know, I was home over this weekend. I went home because I didn't get to go home for New Year, so I got to see my family for around 2 of New Year. So happy New Year, family in Philadelphia. I love you very much. Thank you. I also this weekend I got to. I'm a big horror fan, so I got to catch the new. What do you call it? The new, I guess. I can't think of the great word, but the new Scream, whatever you call it, the new edition, the Scream 5. You know, you're a big horror fan too.
Yes, I'm a big horror fan. Maria.
That's Rhea, one of our producers.
Yes.
So I got to catch it, and it was funny because
Don't tell me nothing about it. Just tell me it was good or bad.
no, I would never do that.
Okay.
But however, I'm a journalist.
Yes.
Do your homework. Are you gonna hear it? You're gonna hear it here. So but I won't give that much away.
Okay.
But I just want to say that I think, you know, it's kind of one of those things like where people need to live well enough alone So that means even as an artist, I feel like there's some artists. One of my favorites too. I won't say her name because I may get come for. But but it's just like if you're gonna if your career is like towards the end or you have hitting the height of your career, it's okay if you want to retire and socialize.
How dare she?
But I just mean if you're gonna continue to do work, it better not put your grandest work to shame.
Exactly.
So I feel like this new installment, in my personal opinion, it wasn't bad, but I feel like it kind of like it was unnecessary.
Yes.
And it just left, like the last one they had, like it was a great ending to the whole
Yes.
story. But this new one just didn't, hit the mark for me, and it kind of
fizzled.
Oh my gosh! Like I just feel like what? It just it just was a bad script for me. With what they laid forth from the beginning with that show.
Yes.
But the reason I brought it up is because I didn't even realize, but I'll mention it, and I wish actually I could look up the person's name here because I should we want to be correct. But so they had their first queer character, I think it was.
Oh my God, just like Chucky.
I know. I know, and I didn't realize this, but I just wanted to mention it right here. Where is it? So it says, so there's I guess it's a TV show called Yellow Jackets.
Never heard.
And I don't know it either with so much television. But there's a star on that show, Jasmine Savoy Brown.
Okay.
And she played what they're saying, a queer character in the film. Although me looking at it and me being someone of another generation, I just thought, this is a girl. She's coming into lesbian, but maybe queer does mean lesbian or gay. So I'm not wrong. But anyway, but then it's just like I'm sure they've had gay characters in these shows before.
Of course they did.
But whatever, let's just shout out to the media and the world with evolving and exploring and including everybody. So they had this girl who was a queer character in the film. But that's why I mentioned it. But go see the show.
She was queer and she got killed.
Well, I'm just
guessing.
No.
I'm just guessing.
I won't say that.
I'm just guessing.
But the other funny part too was that it wasn't streaming on any network like amazing. So like for free rather, like I thought it would be. Like Halloween, the last one, it was streaming the same day.
Interesting.
So I figured, okay, we'll watch it at home. But we watched it at home probably 2 days later, but it was a bootleg. And in my entire life, I have never seen a bootleg movie ever. I've heard of them, but this definitely had the movie where the people were walking with the shadows.
Oh, get out. That's the 1980s and 90s.
Yes, it was just like, what are we watching here?
Oh, that's funny.
But the movie was not that amazing, so it was well enough that I'm glad I didn't pay for it, and
So
I'm not so mad that it was a bootleg. I mean, it was decent. It was
I haven't
decent enough.
seen a bootleg movie in years.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I used to have
decent enough.
I used to own bootleg movies. I used to break them. You pay $5 for them, right? And they were okay. Then when they raised it to $10, those are the ones where you saw the shadows, people crossing. I'm like, I paid $10 for this, and I spotted the person a couple of days later. I'm like, I want my money back, or give me another movie.
Yeah. And if, initially, like not initially, but probably in the middle of it, I thought, you know what? I'll get to go to like one of the theaters in New York City this weekend, and I'll watch it again on the big screen. But it wasn't worth it for me. For me, I mean, it wasn't a horrible movie, but I just thought it didn't do justice for the rest of the films, which I thought were superior and so wonderfully done. That this was just like, I don't get it. Like,
especially the one that restarted Drew Barrymore's career. Drew Barrymore at one time, her career fizzled, because she had some issues, at a very young age. She was an alcoholic. She did a lot of crazy stuff. And then you didn't hear from her. But then when she came out and screamed, and she got hanged on that tree, her career went like this. Shh.
I know.
And where she is now, her own freaking talk show, bitch.
She really is. But the segue that also something I read this week. Pardon me, I have this frog.
I'm not a drunk.
Yes, Wes Craven. Oh, so I guess get to know Sulla as well. So yeah, I guess Get to Know agrees with my thoughts about the Scream films. But I wanted to.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Wes Craven would be rolling in his grave.
But the
That was
segues,
funny.
it segues into something so perfect and so unscripted. Since I was sharing about Scream,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
point
yeah,
of that
yeah.
story was just their queer character in the film. But I read another story this weekend that I thought was amazing, and I'm sure it's very close to both of our hearts.
Okay.
So in this new series of Wonder Woman comics,
Yes, yes.
darling, show
Oh
it.
wait.
I know you're a huge Wonder Woman fan, and so am I. Wonder Woman has a girlfriend.
Oh, she's a lesbian now.
Well, no. If you read, you read this, yeah. So
That's how the straight people call it.
if you read the story, and I think it's so amazing. So they were saying, that I guess in the earlier comic book days of Wonder Woman, her character was said to be bisexual.
I
Be bisexual. But I think it's so interesting in here. Her love interest throughout all the years was Superman, right?
Yes.
Right. But in here, she's actually in love with his sister.
I didn't know he had a sister.
Well, the comic books are always evolving and creating
Okay,
characters, right? But her name here, what is her name here? They have this,
I'm blind at the back, can't even see
Zalael. But she is in love with, she has this girlfriend now.
Interesting.
In the books, she actually kisses her.
Okay.
And I think about Wonder Woman, and anybody who knows Wonder Woman, is a fan of Wonder Woman. Going back, Wonder Woman was always about women empowerment.
Women empowerment.
There's the island she comes from, which it's just all
I love it.
women.
I love
They're very
love.
strong women, very smart women, educated. It's just beautiful. Even the first film that was done, I think, was so beautifully done, and such a great tribute to the story of Wonder Woman and an honor to
I get you.
the heritage of it. But something to add to it that people don't know
Lesbians.
is that there's a great movie that came out in 2017, and it's called Professor Marsden and the Wonder Women.
Interesting.
It is so freaking amazing, and it really shows how the concept of Wonder Woman came to be, right? And so there was this husband and wife, and they were professors at the school.
Yes.
And he taught some kind of women's studies. So he was teaching all women in his classes, right? And then he and his wife, as scientists, they were trying to, invent the lie detector. And they're
Yes,
actually
yes.
credited for creating the lie detector. So, and why I mentioned that is because later in the film, you see that's how it came to be into the story, because him and his wife also had kinks. And they were this all-American, white couple, in the suburbs, where it was. But they had kinks. And what was more of him, because, usually it's men that have the kinks, and they rope the women in, so to speak. That became the lasso of truth.
Okay, but what kind of kink? I want to know.
Well, bondage. I'm sorry. So
Okay,
bondage.
all right,
So
been
the
there.
lie detector and then the bondage, the rope. That
Okay.
became one part of the story that they adapted to be the lasso of truth. But just going back into that too, the first Wonder Woman comic books, they were very erotic. Even her clothing was minimal. And she almost looked like what are those the name of the count pinup.
Oh, the pinups.
So she was kind of patterned after the pinups, and she would wear the small underwear. Small skirt was it? The small skirt,
little,
sorry,
yeah.
and a little top. And even in the original comics, there was a lot of kink and sexual undertone into it. And even women on women, I guess sexual images and things. But it was too racy for the time, so they had to tone it down.
They had to water it down.
Tremendously. And so to even moving forward, I think the film was so amazing too, because I'm going to give it away because I don't care, but you may not watch it, but you can still enjoy it. So he passed away, and then his wife, pardon me, his wife, Oh, and what it was. So him and his wife took on a second lover, a female. So
Okay.
they were having a polygamous marriage, and then he had babies by both, and they were all living together happily in the house. So that was something else that was a part of it. But when he passed away, I believe his wife and the young woman or the other woman, continued their relationship, and they were a lesbian couple. So they passed away. It might have been in New York City, but I thought it was an incredibly amazing movie. But just to bring it all back in, if you know that history, or if you didn't know the history, I'm sharing it with you. It's not so much of a surprise that Wonder Woman will be bisexual or have a lesbian interest, and it's really fun.
I never knew that. I never knew because I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan. You know, what's her name? Linda
Carter.
Carter's not a lesbian. I love Wonder Woman. As a matter of fact, I still have the DVDs at home. All the seasons I have them. I was just looking at them today. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait till I reconnect my DVR, my DVD player. I love Wonder Woman.
Well, I also heard that over the I guess the last I'll say 5 years at least. A lot of comic books have been exploring that. So a lot of the characters are bisexual or curious or etc. And actually, I think I was reading in that same article. Superman's son falls in love with a mailman or something, and he actually kisses him.
I'm
In
so
a comic book,
I
yeah.
didn't even know Superman had a son, and I'm a big fan of Superman.
Child, these books are evolving. But you know what? I think we wouldn't know it if you're just watching the
reruns.
blockbuster movies or reruns or etc. You're gonna see, obviously what they want to program for their stations or whatnot. But if you're like a diehard comic book fan, where you go and buy the comics,
Marvel fan.
or DC or whatever the ones that are out there, there's a tremendous world and tremendous characters that we
even know.
will not have heard of or will not hear of unless you go and read them, because they're not going to be in the mainstream most times. And there's a whole history. I mean, you think of
Interesting. I like
like
it.
the X-Men films,
I love X-Men.
how amazing they are. But if you really are the diehard fan and you're reading the comics, I have just seen each character has an incredibly in-depth, complex storyline
Yeah.
of how they were raised from or born, and how before they even became X-Men. There's a whole backstory that I think is amazing, and which I think is great for that franchise, because they can keep building and building and
Exactly.
prequels and sequels and whatever they want to do and expanding. But yeah, that's something I read, that a lot of the comic books now are exploring, or inclusive characters of the community, and which they should, because I mean, over the years, that there was always this stereotype that most gay men are comic book fans or comic hero, and maybe they are. Maybe I'm not saying they are. I'm sure this is an ignorant stereotype. But of course, a lot of those readers where am I being portrayed
Exactly.
or represented in there?
Yeah, I do believe that we should have more gay comic books. I remember when I was in high school, before you was born. I remember when they were talking about that in the future we're gonna see gay comic books and stuff like that, and it has happened already. It has happened, it's like over 15 years ago.
And why
already.
wouldn't it? You think this is a fantasy? Not that being of LGBT community is a fantasy, but these characters can be and do everything, anything. And it's powerful. So why would that be something? Obviously we understand why it wasn't explored. Or omitted or etc. But I think it's really amazing that these as you watch even TV now, as one of our viewers was saying, new shows are coming out. They're incorporating all of this, and there's shows that we've watched before that are being rebooted, and it's incredibly smart, and of course it's important. If you have a show or a book or a comic or whatever is happening in life, to evolve and include, because that's how you reach more people. And that's probably how you grab more fans. And also, it's incredibly important, especially when it's something media-wise, because representation from in all aspects, whether it's color, gender, race, and down the line of whatever the representation is, it's something that's always been an issue and a concern. And so now to see that, even for our community, like we're being represented on
Yeah.
TV.
I'm happy when I'm watching a TV show that has nothing to do with the LGBT, and they show a commercial that is. I'm like, yes, you know what I'm saying? It's really important. That's why I celebrate Pride. I kept Pride alive in the Bronx because I believe in it. That gives us more exposure, and these companies that are using gays as part of the commercial, not on Pride Month, on a regular day. I mean,
well,
that's good
also,
for us.
and also, it's just that, this generation coming up, or to these young children, which people, don't give, like I said, it's another show, enough credit. It's just like they really are the change for tomorrow. And when you grow up with images and inclusion and acceptance, etc., it's just like it becomes something that's so matter of fact. So children grow up and it's like, oh yeah, Jimmy, yeah, he was bisexual. He used to hit on Tommy or Kelly, or the case may be on the schoolyard when they were in the lunchroom. We were having what was it, like school lunch, like like chicken nugget, like tater tots and bologna sandwiches, and it just becomes something that's so just I say normal, but like regular. So it's like it doesn't even matter, and with that, it remedies all the nonsense that people in this generation before have created. So I think that is the even the bottom line there. Yeah, we want to see ourselves represented. We should but even more importantly, the gravity that it's gonna take this next generation to just see everybody's like, oh, they don't even care. Like we're not gonna have to walk around and ask or say or think or worry. It's just gonna be like a part of our regular everyday lives.
I have a question to ask you. When you was growing up, right? Because I'm gonna share mine after you answer the question that I'm gonna ask you. When you was growing up, were you surrounded by gays, and were gays involved in the family, like friends and neighbor? Were you exposed to that? Did you see that when you was growing up?
I did. So my uncle, my mother's brother, is a gay man.
Okay.
And he was born in the 60s or 60s. But as a small, even when I could learn to talk, like we knew, oh, that's gay Uncle Tommy. Didn't know what gay was, but they told us, no, it's gay Uncle Tommy. And that's all it was. So growing up, like no one treated him any different than they treated me, or someone else in my family.
Of course.
So it's just a way of life. So it's never been something that's been surprising, or of concern to my family or for me. Just in the outside world, they don't get it. So you come up against all that when you're walking out, and like people say, oh, that's that gay guy.
Because
Wait, I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
I was being for effect, darling.
Okay, honey. I thought I was not gonna. I thought I was not gonna. Wait. I thought I was not gonna speak on today's episode. So keep on talking.
She asked me a question. Can I answer it?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I'll finish in my thought.
I'll have it.
So it was like, you walk out in the world and this is like, oh, people like, oh, that person's this, that. And for me, it's like, I don't need to whisper or I don't look at people that way. So it's a very, that part there is something that,
Were you scared?
challenging.
Were you scared?
I wasn't scared. To come out?
No. Not about coming out. About when you saw gays, when you was growing. I'm talking about when you was a child. And you saw the gays. Did you tell yourself, oh my God, I'm like them. I'm just like them. Did you think about that?
Well, you know what? I wasn't like in a pool of gays, So, I mean, other than Uncle Tommy, I didn't know who was or wasn't gay. And I think my greatest image, which is another topic today, from childhood of anything gay was RuPaul.
RuPaul, yes.
That was the only image I had on TV of a creative person from the community of color. Like that.
Do you remember how old you was when you discovered RuPaul?
I don't know exactly, but I'm gonna say probably I was probably like 10.
Oh wow.
10.
That's awesome.
And I was sharing last week with someone from a couple generation back from me or two, because we were watching the Drag Race.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, I used to watch RuPaul when she had her talk show on VH1. And I did, and it was something I watched, religiously, and I loved it. But back to your question, it's just too far. I wasn't scared. I wasn't awkward. Like I being gay in my family was something that was was just like a gay Uncle Tommy. So if I saw another gay person, there was no need to feel fear or misunderstanding because this is like, okay, that's Uncle Tommy.
Okay,
That's this person. It wasn't made to be an issue that I should be like, oh, that's different, that's weird, etc. So no, I had none of
Oh,
that.
the good. When I was growing, thank you for sharing. When I was a teenager, we had a family member. My mother's best friend from childhood had a nephew. The nephew became transgender. So when I was like in my sixth grade, or when I entered seventh grade, he used to perform at Escuelita. And I remember his mom used to make him the costumes and everything. And I've been designing clothes since I was 6 years old by hand. So I remember telling myself, would I end up like him one day? I was telling myself that in my head. But I was excited, and I would ask him a million questions. So how is it in the dressing rooms? Do you guys steal each other's clothes? I would like interview him like at 14 years old, and he would, she would, but she didn't have titties. She was just dress up every day, but no titties, no work done. Beautiful hair, and I would ask her a lot of questions. I was like Joan Rivers asking questions and questions because I was curious. I'm like, and this is interesting. And she performed at Escuelita many times back in the day when it was not Angel Sheridan, it was another MC that was there. I think it was Mario de Colombia. He was another legendary performer. He passed away years ago. And she used to do pageants, and I remember asking, because I was curious. I was like, oh, this could be something I'll get into years from now. And, that's what happened. And I was excited when I saw gays in the family, like friends of friends, and I would ask a lot of questions. And it made it easier for me. I never came out of the closet, believe it or not, when I was at home. Everybody.
It looks like you're still in the closet, darling. You're a little dusty.
Yeah,
You
especially
smell like mothballs.
Honey, I got cobwebs.
You smell like mothballs.
Bitch, I got cobwebs down there, bitch. I don't know if the producer's beeping.
Hey.
Beep, beep, beep. But I was not afraid, and I felt that it was nobody's business. When I hate when people try to out gay people. I'm like, no, let them do it when you're ready for that. You know what I'm saying? When they're ready for it, let them come out. For me, I never come out of the closet. I had girlfriends, I had boyfriends, And that's how it was when I moved to South Beach. I formed a group of friends. It was gay, bisexual, lesbians. We were always together every weekend after work. It was amazing. And nobody was shady about that. That one was gay. No, we were all treated equally. And we used to meet in my house, and we used to go to clubs. They used to go see my shows in the early 90s, the whole 90s, actually. And it was never an issue. The word gay was never an issue in my life in the 1990s until I moved back to New York City in 2000. That's when I'm like, why is it a big deal? You know what I'm saying? For me, it wasn't.
Well, it's always going to be a big deal. Everything's going to be a big deal to people who have nothing going on in their lives. So when you have nothing going on in your life, it's easy, like, negativity, everything gravitates toward them. And negativity is a huge, like a very strong emotion. So when people have nothing going on, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon with, the riots or whatever you call it. Say, oh, I'm just gonna do this because I want to belong to something, and and people don't know how to express their emotions. So anger is an easy way to just like diffuse yourself, I guess I want to say. So let's do this. But I think even as doing this show and being a person in the community, it's so corny, it's so whack, and it's just so dated that we keep talking about gay and people coming out and stuff.
Exactly.
And it's a truth. It's a truth. That a long time coming, but hopefully it's like not that far off, because I feel like definitely our community now and the world at large is pressed. Like, we're just breaking the walls down. We're not being nice no more. Like, no, we're here. Look at me. We're doing this. And it's making things very uncomfortable and things very like chaotic. But you know what? Yeah. There's no time to be nice anymore. Exactly. Like we're tired. People are tired. There's no time to be nice. There's no time to be tactful. It's just like, what? Kick in the door and like the Trojan horse, and let all the fight happen, and whoever survives, look, we're gonna like create all of this,
I
you know,
get
and
you, I
make it
get
what it
you.
is. But I want to move on. I have so many topics.
But I want to ask the producer a question though. Producer, when you was growing up, did you have gay neighbors, gay friends in your life?
I'm Latino. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, okay, that means you had a whole bunch of neighbors that were gay. Okay,
that
cool.
means-
No,
See.
that means yes. Family members
See.
and Latinos are always, you know.
And it was not a big deal, right? Back then was no big. My family was no big deal. No big deal at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're all gay. Okay, moving along. I was talking about the blood shortage. Also another story, which actually, you know what? I don't watch a lot of news, but because of this show, I have to keep up on things.
About time the bitch is
so-
watching news.
Because I think the news is just is like everybody else. Like the news just programs people. So if you watch the news every day, you can't think for yourself. You need someone to think for you.
I have to disagree
So-
with that. Wait. I have to disagree with that because as an adult, even when I was younger, I watched the news and I could tell what's BS and I could tell what's the truth.
Well-
I'm not gonna let my mind get controlled like people say. The news.
So
the
all
media."
your feelings, all your feelings about COVID are exactly yours,
No,
or it's
no, no,
because
no.
of what the news is
My
telling you.
My feelings about COVID is because I lost my niece, I lost my father, I lost my cousin, I lost a whole bunch of people in my family and people that I loved around the country because half of them were saying the same thing about the COVID. The media. No, they were living their life and they caught it and they're not here anymore. So I don't care what the media says. I'm talking about my life experience.
Okay. I mean, I can't argue that. But it's still moving along. So the blood shortage it has to do with the COVID.
Oh yes, that's true.
And why I bring that up, because it applies to our program of our show, what we're supposed to be speaking about, is that, you know, since 1983, there was like an
Yes.
indefinite ban
Exactly.
on our community to donate
Yes.
blood,
The first question, you're gay.
right, because of
And
HIV
then they go,
and
I'm sorry, we
bisexuality.
cannot take your blood.
But right now, because there's a deficit, they say there's a deficit because of COVID,
Okay.
they want to temporarily open up that, like lift that law so that they can receive blood. So, how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I think that now, without technology, back in the day, it was very difficult to screen the blood for HIV and other diseases. But now, it's different. Now. Because I remember friends of a family or family friend had an operation and needed a blood transfusion and caught HIV because of that.
the blood.
The blood transfer, the blood wasn't screened or wasn't screened right, or the technology wasn't there, and we lost the individual. It was a long time ago. I don't even remember the person.
So what do you think happened? Because my thought on this was that I understand the reasoning behind being the risk of the blood maybe taken from our community, right? So to speak. But since HIV and AIDS has no face on it, since anybody can
Anybody
get
could
it,
catch it.
I mean, there are people donating blood that are not from our community, so to speak, and they're giving blood. How do they not know if that blood isn't?
I understand what you're
Does
saying.
that make sense? I don't know.
No, I hear you. Okay, I'm gonna sound like people that blame the media for everything. I'm gonna sound like that right now. Back in the day, the media made HIV into a gay disease because I remember Joe Blow that lived in the corner, straight as hell. He was hot too.
Joe Blow. His name is Joe Blow.
No, that's the nickname I gave him. And he was a drug dude, an intravenous drug user, and he caught it. He used to do the drug thing with a whole bunch of people in the neighborhood, and that's how he caught it. He didn't catch it from having gay sex. He was the straight as an arrow. Trust me, I know that.
So then, would it be correct, or what are your thoughts? Like, it's a little it's kind of really ridiculous that they would ban our community. Well, not our whole community, but just they say gay and bisexual. Men who have sex with men, from giving blood. But now we know a fact that anyone, straight, gay, or however you identify, can acquire the virus. So I was thinking about that today. I mean, and over the last 2 days, when I was thinking about this topic, that it's kind of like, it's not silly because it's no, obviously, like, it makes sense if someone openly gay is like, okay, I can't donate, or if they express that they're gay or bisexual, not to blood banks,
I get you.
don't come in. But you could have Joe Blow, many Joe Blows
Yeah,
coming
of
in,
course.
or Kelly Blows.
Kelly
Kaboom! Kelly Kaboom! Coming through and giving blood, and this same thing could happen.
Kelly.
But I know another part of this is just like until 2015. Then they kind of wanted to lessen the restriction on it. So they were like, okay, any gay or bisexual men who abstain from sex for a whole year can donate.
So,
I'm like, you really are just like, come on.
so you and Albert Crocus cannot donate blood, Enrique Velez.
Never. Like, I am not mad at it. Never.
Lord
Never.
Jesus.
But I'm just like, okay. And then, and then now, I think, so recently, the past few years, they lessened it more.
Yeah.
And
They're
now
loosening it. I heard it. I heard about it.
they said that if you abstain from sex for 90 days, you can donate blood.
The producer could donate blood. He hasn't had sex in a year.
Where's like, I mean, I understand, but it's just, I mean, and let me say something. I don't actively donate blood, but sometimes I haven't donated blood probably in, I don't know, I'll say 5 years, 5 years. But the times I've gone, I ain't telling my business. I'm straight. How about them Cowboys, La Loma? But my lip gloss is popping, girl.
Yes, it is, honey.
It's
And
popping.
And your lips are perfect.
Your lips look red with this 4K.
How you doing? Oh my God. that was
But
funny.
yeah, but I just thought now. So I've asked my doctor, who's an infectious disease specialist,
Yes, yes.
because I wanted to know. So
course.
I asked him 2 questions, and the first question,
Okay.
it's like old people fat.
I'm
but,
feeling moist right now.
But the first question was just about. So I learned that a blood supply, the shelf life is 42 days.
Okay.
So it's quite shy of 90 days. But I thought, couldn't they just test it over 42 days and then they could clear it? But it can't be done.
Well,
It can't be done because he's saying that it takes at least 90 days to be like almost 100% sure that blood isn't infected.
Yes.
Um.
Oh, they cannot tell right then and there. When
No,
they
and then plus when they seal it up, and they can't unseal it.
Well, what he was saying.
And once they open it, they cannot close
right.
it. Oh.
And also what he was saying.
They can't freeze it in a Ziploc.
Well,
No,
what?
it's not a sperm bite. It's a
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oops.
Ah!
Silly me.
And what he was saying, is that, well, anyway, I mean, there's no way around 90 days. I was like, okay, 90 days. And so then I also asked him, I said, well, what about like, if you have, one of our healthy, HIV individuals, wants to donate blood, and I kind of knew some of this, but wanted to ask him, could another person with HIV, 2 healthy HIV individuals for transfusion, have it like
If they're
transfused,
undetectable.
right? But one,
said no?
he just said one, the law says no. Number 2, scientifically, there's never been any studies done regarding that. And number 3, even one of the most important ones is like you don't want cross infection
Of course,
because
well,
every virus has different strains,
And
then the meds and stuff like that.
and I
like-
was about to say
oh,
that,
okay.
the meds.
Sorry.
The meds.
So mixing.
Yes.
So-
but other countries, believe it or not, even though we're the land of the free, but other countries are more advanced with the with meds that they do not approve here in the States. Do you agree with that? Producer, do you have a Viagra? This microphone keeps falling down.
So
And you know why is that, right?
Why?
Because half of the meds that are made overseas is done natural. And they don't want natural here because we won't make money.
Exactly. It's all about
The
dinero.
money.
Because other countries do surgery and treatments for cancer and this and that, and the people are surviving. And over here in the States, it's outlawed. That's why a lot of people get surgeries done in other countries and other work done because over here they don't allow it.
well, yeah, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things, that are just done in other, even states that,
Yeah.
you figure, which is so ridiculous, when it comes to laws, like if we're the United States, why isn't it across the board the laws? But I get it and I don't get it. There's nuances. But even like the legalization of marijuana,
Yeah.
it's not everywhere. In some places.
Exactly.
But I want to answer your question. Well, actually, Laloma answered your question too, but you asked
Yeah,
me.
go ahead.
But can you repeat it because I kind of forgot it?
What was the question?
It was about medications overseas. You said.
Oh, there's treatments done in out of the country, in other countries out there, that over here, life-saving treatments that over here in the United States is outlawed. They won't do it. I personally know people with cancer that they survived because they had medical treatments done in other countries for their cancer.
And I agree with you. And I'm definitely one person who chooses holistic methods over any medications.
Yes.
And I'm not saying like if you're like in a very chronic stage or something, you very well should seek some medical help.
Of course. Advice, like 3 advice.
But if you can, take care of issues on your own, you should. But even to add to that, is like I heard a story even with a few years ago, Suzanne Summers.
Yes.
And so she had, I think one mastectomy, one of her breasts taken, right, from cancer. And she told the doctor, just take the tissue, leave the skin. And she claims, I can't confirm it, but she claims that she went to a Japanese doctor, and he did stem cell regimen for her, like her own tissue.
Yes.
And regrew the breast tissue in her chest. And we know that that's very possible. They're growing hearts and ears and stuff from stem cells.
From mice.
So people, they're just taking women's breasts off. Stem cell, research and stem cell regrowing is something that's very true in the fact. I mean, I've never seen it. I just know, even working in the hospital on One Medicine, they were doing stem cell research, to regrow cartilage and bone tissue and stuff like that. So
Skin tissue.
Everything.
That I've seen skin tissue being
everything.
amazing.
But I thought, the blood ban was, at first, you know what, one of our viewers had even said, I'm not giving blood either. They didn't want it then. Why now? But when you look into it,
But all that they could take the HIV could be taken out now from that. Years ago, back in the day, they couldn't do that.
well, that
Technology
I
was
don't
not.
know. I don't know.
So
I
you
didn't
guys
read
could
that,
check that out and
but-
correct me on it. But someone told me about that. But I didn't read it myself. So this
Yeah.
is hearsay.
Okay, no, maybe it's, I didn't read it either.
That they could take out the HIV from them.
I mean, the article that I got it from was from an LGBT publication, like magazine or news media. So they may have not known it either. I didn't know that.
Okay.
But that'd be amazing. Like, I guess if you could extract it out.
True. Listen, I need Viagra for this freaking microphone. Listen, guys, I would like to apologize because I can't see comments on the screen in front of me, so I can't see his phone. I'm blind as a bat. So I don't know who's there. Let's give out shout-outs to the people that are watching. That a lot of locals that are watching. People around the country are watching us also, but who are the locals?
Most of our diehard fans are not get to know. We love you. Thank you for all the politically correct terms
Get
that
to know,
you
yeah.
offer us and the information, because I know you work for a very
See, look, exactly
accredited.
what I was talking about. Couples with who are HIV can conceive without passing it to their offspring. That I knew about.
No, that I know, because I have a very dear friend that gave birth to her child.
Exactly. I know
know.
people. I know people, females HIV that they gave birth to their child that are negative.
But
Oops, it turned off.
Apple wants to shout out to Nesh Hart. Nesh Hart, is watching.
Hello.
Always watching. We love the support. Albert Rodriguez.
We're frozen now.
That's okay. Oh, I think they can still hear us, right?
Okay.
Albert Rodriguez, Enrique, we love you. Luis Torres, we love you. Pebbles McWater, we love you.
I love you, Pebbles. We need to talk.
This is a new one for me, Robert Oviedo. I don't know if I ever saw
Yes,
him
that
watching
Detective
it.
Bobby. Detective Bobby, how are you?
Okay, Shirley.
He's one of my sponsors.
Shirley Phillips, we love
Shirley
you.
Phillips.
Um,
The comment section, correct, producer?
yeah.
And what's her co-host's name?
Fox. Okay. Fox Bowden.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's not the other one. Oh, I didn't know that.
That's his stage name.
Oh,
Fox Bowden.
We all got stage names, but honey, we're frozen on the screen in front of us.
Oh no! What did I wrote?
But I look pretty though, frozen. Oh,
I was-
your phone died now.
No. I wrote a couple. You know, the topic about the blood and the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And lastly, I know I'm gonna say some. You know, whatever you want to speak about it, but I just want to talk about the RuPaul season 14.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't have cable. I'm poor.
You're not poor. You just don't have cable.
Aw, thank you.
No, you're not poor. I mean that hair, but you know I didn't want to say anything. And that
Bitch.
T-shirt.
No, but this Albert Crocus gave me this.
no, it's
not
very
this,
cute. It's
but
very
the
cute.
T-shirt.
But I don't know. Are we still kind of live? Or are we frozen, producer?
No, that's
Okay.
Okay.
So the RuPaul's this season. You know, obviously we shared that. You know, you started your really wonderful RuPaul watching parties.
Remember?
Was it like 10 years ago I started RuPaul, or 12 years ago maybe?
Yeah, it's been. I haven't done it in like in 4 years. More or
Okay.
less.
But I haven't seen that RuPaul since you've been having
No, but
had your
I
watching
plan,
parties.
I plan to do it for All Stars. I don't know when he's gonna start All Stars.
But
I plan
this-
to. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, but this season, I tell you, I'm really living for it.
You're living?
I'm really living for it. And I just think that you know all the performers are really like
They're giving it.
they really are giving it. You know, and so there was a 2-part premiere, right?
I remember I was told.
But the second part premiere, the girls are giving it. Like they are just coming out, you know, and
They ain't playing.
you know the one thing that I think you know about you know a drag is just like a lot of the girls think, oh, I just want to look I just want to look pretty, you know, and be
And femme.
and be over sexualized.
Yes.
And it's like that is not the art of drag. The
Yeah.
art of drag is being an artist.
You leave that to
know?
the old bitches like me. Once I reach my age, and then I have to sexualize. What you doing?
You know, and it's just like watching these performers out here, these girls. It's been like really entertaining, and I just there's so many of them. I just wanted to like you know there was a couple of names because there's so many.
I was about to say, do you know which one? Give
No,
a
I know
shout out.
I know some here. I'm just gonna talk about the show.
Okay.
But you know, at first I want to talk about the reason why I started watching was of course our show.
Yes.
And the second reason that we spoke on our Zoom show a couple weeks
Yes,
ago
yes.
about the first ever cisgender heterosexual contestant.
Yes. You finally saw her?
Yes.
And she look good?
Maddie Morphosis is the name. So, really adorable guy. He's very like a country boy, you know, from like living on the country land. Like,
Is he femme as a boy?
No, he's just like a really sweet.
He's quiet?
He's a really like you know if you know anybody like from the South, like a guy from the South, like a hometown country boy.
Just like me.
You know, is serving that. But really sweet. But I think like me watching his drag, and I'm no drag expert, you know, but what I've observed over the years, his drag definitely comes from a place like I can see like if our producer did drag,
Oh Lord Jesus.
you know, like and not saying like
I should dress him up
and not
one day.
saying, and what I'm saying is like not saying it's bad drag, but it's like if I would see a man's take, and let me say I can't say man, but if I
Yeah.
see a heterosexual man's take on drag, this is definitely like it's like if a dad of a daughter wants to like play with his daughter and he dresses up for her, and it's not a shade like I'm like the drag is good. I'm just saying like I'm just getting that look from Maddie Morphosis.
Like this?
Yeah, the Maddie Morphosis. No, and she no he is very creative. Maddie Morphosis, she's very creative. Thinks outside the box, and I definitely think is a contender. I think
Oh, he is?
I think is a contender. Why? Because when you're doing like these contestant shows, people are gonna come out and they know. So they're singers or dancers, like they know the go through the motions type thing. But it takes somebody to think outside the box, someone to have a niche at what they or niche at what they do. I didn't want to go. I'm trying to look both of these things here. And I think Maddie Morphosis really brung it. And this week, she was safe. She beat out, and I can't think, and you definitely know can correct me. There was a contestant this year that was she was from the house of and I can't see the comments, Elfie, because I know you would tell me here.
I can't
but,
see the comments. Yeah.
But her name was Diabetti, I think it was. Yeah, Diabetti.
Diabetes.
Diabetti. And she was related. She is related to. There was a drag contestant another season. Methyl. It was meth something.
Okay, I don't remember.
Elfie will know. I'm gonna go back to the comments here because I
You got
I
a
hate getting it
question.
wrong.
Steve Moore said, Frankie, have you ever done drag?
I've done drag when I get paid for it. Otherwise, never.
He's done drag at my events, and let me tell you,
I don't love it enough.
I have to. He knows that I'm the type of bitch. If you've worked with me, you know that when I give compliments, it's because I mean it. And this one right here turns it out. And all the eyes will be like this. You know, because you'll come out all, manly, all that. And then he'll go back inside the dressing room, boom, 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 comes out with a wig, with heels, and you turn it out even more. So
and my
that's a
drag,
plus.
my drag is my own personal aesthetic. Like I'm not saying I'm sitting here contending with RuPaul's Drag Race contestants, but I do the drag that works in my lane.
And it goes great at my events. They live for it.
So do you know Crystal Meth? She was a contestant on
I
Drag
remember
Race.
Crystal Meth. Don't know her.
Anyway, moving along. One of the girls that was actually sashayed away on this second premiere before Maddie Morphosis was Diabetti. Maddie Morphosis came out. They had a what was it? The talent part, right?
Yes.
And played guitar. And was just really interesting. It wasn't amazing, but it was just different because
it was cute.
It was different because again, you see a lot of girls coming out here and they think, oh, it's just about being pretty and sexy. And this was a very subdued part, just playing like guitar. It was almost like when we spoke of what you were mentioning loosely, not saying his was like gender bending what he did.
Yeah.
Because it was a suit and it was hair and
I was known for that in South Beach.
But did incredibly well. Michelle Visage loves her. And she's a tough B.
And if Michelle Visage, hello Michelle, she's a Facebook friend of mine. If Michelle Visage loves it, she means it.
All she told her was just tweak your makeup a little bit, baby.
And don't wear green.
The makeup needs to be tweaked a little bit, but that's it. And there was another. I'm not gonna go back and forth, but maybe Get to Know can help us. But there was on the first week there was another contestant who was voted off the first week. Tell me. But there's a new contestant on there who actually slayed the second show, Apple. And the name is Angeria Paris Van Michaels, and she's from Atlanta.
Okay.
And she so gives me. I had to pull it up. Season 1, the winner, Bibi Zahara Benet. She is so giving me Bibi Zahara Benet. She really, and she came in the second show here, and she slayed each.
And then every one of them.
The photo, she slayed the talent, she slayed the. It was called most sickening drag. But yeah, really amazing, really. I kind of was getting a distaste for her because she was like shady in the
She was arrogant.
She was shady in the mean sense, some of the girls, but I understand that makes great TV and also makes people love you. So I can't be mad at her for that because that is definitely a part of winning. But I also say this: when you come to RuPaul's Drag Race, it's just like I don't care if you're the worst drag race. If me and Laloma went to RuPaul's Drag Race tomorrow, what I think is the key to this. Even if your looks have to evolve and get tips and work over the season, if you know how to throw down fiercely for the lip sync, if you could lip sync your behind off,
even if you look a mess,
right, Apple, that is what's gonna put you through.
Yes.
And I think that falls in line with every piece of art. It's not about your capabilities. It's can you sell it?
Yes.
Can you sell it?
Did I give you my connection with RuPaul's Drag Race?
Don't know.
Have you ever
maybe.
heard about? Okay, so for season 2, it was an online voting, so you could be a contestant. So I got the contract, right? I received the contract, but I had to decline because, honey, once you sign that contract, they own you, girl. And nobody owns Miss Cruz. And I had a lot of bookings for season 2. I had to cancel everything. And I was like, no, I'm not. So I respectfully just ignored the email, and I just didn't do it. But I could have been in season 2, honestly.
What?
And I got receipts, bitch. So I don't know what that means. Wrap it up. God, this was so quick. Oh, my God.
Do we not have 5 minutes?
We can't get 5 minutes? Oh, 55 minutes. Okay.
Since when?
This goes so fast. Oh, my God. Hold on. Let me fix my hair. Miss, dang, this goes so...
I feel like I'm on the Apollo and the Sandman's coming out with the hook.
Like we just started speaking.
Get on
I
the
feel
show.
like if me and Frankie they just started speaking, right? We feel like we just said, welcome to the show, and it's already ending.
I know. Well, anyway, we want to thank the viewers. I want to thank the viewers for watching.
Yes.
Thank you because the loyal watchers have been watching
Yes,
since
yes.
I've started
Thank
this
you,
season.
thank you.
Thank you. And I just want you to reach out to us. And there are topics that you want us to talk about. Please give them because it's hard. Like I don't have time to be always looking up, but it's my job. I got to do that. But
I'm happy you do that.
But there's topics that mean
Because
something.
I could talk about anything, but I'm happy
If there's
that you
topics
research.
that mean something to you out there, please send them to the studio, send them to me. I don't know how you'll send them, but we'll work on that going forward.
Now I want to add, we need sponsors, okay, for this show. We need sponsors so I could get here in the cab. You know what I'm saying? So I could look beautiful. Because honey, to get a legendary diva here, it's a process.
Didn't you say you love White Castle? White Castle will sponsor you,
I-
darling. The
I'll
30
do White Castle.
pack?
I lost.
The 30 pack?
I was telling him about the crave case from White Castle. I lost over 37 pounds. If you haven't noticed it, you're blind. But anyway, we need sponsors. And if you want us to MC an event, the red carpet for your event, contact LDM Network. LDM, producer, give them your email so they could contact you. You want us to host the red carpet.
It's info at
Wait.
ldmshow.com, right?
Let the producer answer it. Go
Want
ahead.
any information on this show or any other show, go to ldmnetwork.net, and all the information is there.
Because we could host a red carpet at your event. It doesn't have to be an LGBT. It could be a straight event. I'll host it anywhere. So we could go there. I could be, dressed for the gods.
Pay for my cab, though. I give
How
him a
you do
train.
it?
I give
Because,
him a
honey,
train.
Miss Cruz needs cat money, honey, because these train rides are killing my arms.
All love all day. See you next Tuesday, same time, 7
I need
p.m.
Viagra for my microphone.
Same time next week.
See you next week.
It's feeling like deja vu. This ain't feeling right. Cause it's feeling like deja vu. Feeling like. It's feeling like deja vu. Don't know what to do. Should I let go of you? Deja vu. Don't wanna repeat of your love. I've had enough. Don't wanna repeat. You better prove to me tonight. Cause it's feeling like deja vu.